This really nice 2003 10th anniversary torch red Terminator Cobra showed up for sale. It only has 1,500 miles on it. We've been talking about some cars recently that were also 10th anniversary cars with 4 miles on them or 5 miles on them. This one has 1,500 on it. So a little bit more mileage there, but the plastic still has the Cobra bags on it. See how it says Cobra there on the plastic? As far as we know, that's all original. The interior looks great. The steering wheel, the FR500 style steering wheel there with the carbon fiber leather looks really good. It looks new. The window sticker is there on the floor, and there's some other things in bags there with barcodes on them. Not quite sure what those are. I think they might be the key fobs, but I'm not positive. So if somebody else knows, you can put that in the comments. But the car just looks amazing. 1,500 miles, there's really not a lot to complain about here. The gas pedal still has the sticker on it that says Cobra. The radio still has the sticker on it to be removed by the owner, that little sticker over the faceplate there. And here you can see the 10th anniversary carbon fiber leather printed shift boot and shift knob. So lots of really good detail there. You can see these parts are all new. The little yellow tag hanging there is what usually hangs on the glove box. It is missing the plastic over the steering wheel like in this picture, unless it's in the trunk somewhere or something. This is how the steering wheel is on this car. It's bare. All around a very beautiful car. You can see the engine bay, looks all stock, all original, very nice. All the stickers look like they're on there. Not sure if that's the original battery. It's possible, but it might not be the original battery. Somebody complained about the tires not being original. But the seller did reply with a picture and said, yes, they are the Eagle F1 tires, the Goodyears, and they might look different at one of the angles that you're looking at, but those are the original tires. So now the question is, what's the asking price on the car? We've talked about how the other ones with 5 miles were going for $50,000. The seller of this car put it up at $49,000. Now, $49,000 might seem high. Maybe some people think it's a good price. These cars have continued to go up in value, and I think they will continue to go up in value. Especially super low mileage cars like this that still have the plastic on the seats. Yes, there are cars that are much lower miles than this, but this car is special, and when you get into cars like this, you don't really get too picky. You take what you can get because you don't know if one of the 5-mile cars is ever going to show up for sale again. This car is still going to be worth a lot of money in the future. And the biggest problem we have here are all the people on Facebook love to jump all over the owner and tell him he's asking too much or this or that, or give their opinion or fight. And you know, that's okay. It's a sales ad. Maybe some questions can be answered, but a couple of things that came up, even I was commenting on this, a couple of things that came up where people were saying that's the same price you can go get a GT350 for. Now, that's true. Of course it is. And some people said a GT350 is a much newer, nicer handling car. It does all this stuff better. It's iconic as well. That's true. But the Terminator Cobra is not like a GT350. It's its own different category. Just like an old Boss 429, a 69 or 70 Boss 9 Mustang, or a GT500 from the 60s, any of those cars are definitely not as good as a new GT350. They do not handle as well. They don't do anything like the new cars do. But the price of those cars keeps going up and up and up and up. And that's where you start to get into collector value. People buy things because it's iconic. That's the key word here, iconic. It means something to somebody. It's something that, in this case, the Terminator Cobra came out when the internet was just getting big with YouTube and everything, and everybody was watching this car. People who grew up loving this car are now getting into the point of their lives where they have the money to buy this car. And another thing that needs to be touched on is inflation. $36,000 new for this car back in 2003 is more like $50,000. It's about what the person is asking. It's what a new GT350 would cost. A new GT500 is going to be $100,000, $74,000 base price. So you are looking at a lot of different factors here. Craig Jackson from Barrett Jackson said that the Terminator Cobra is going to be one of the most collectible Mustangs in the future. So you have all these experts talking about this car. Touching back on the Boss 429, there was a time in the 1980s when you could buy a Boss 429 for $20,000, and that was a lot of money back then. but now it's totally unobtainable. We're talking $250,000 cars for really expensive, nice Boss 429s. The Terminator Cobra is going to be like that. There are going to be high mileage ones. There's a lot of them out there. That's true. But this type of car with super low miles and plastic still on the seats, these are the cars that are going to bring the high dollar at Barrett-Jackson. Now, when I compare this to a Boss 429, I'm not saying that this car is going to bring that kind of money. $100,000, $250,000, whatever they go for. What I'm saying is asking $50,000 for a car that was 36 new is definitely not out of the question, especially in this condition for a car we know is going to be worth more in the future. So in comparing it to classic Mustangs like the old GT500s and the Bosses, we're not talking about the same type of money here yet. We're just talking about the cars that are going up in value. Sure, $20,000 versus $500,000 is a big difference there. So you can definitely put that in the same category as a car that's appreciating in value. And we know the Terminator Cobras are some of the best Mustangs ever made, and people love them. Now, as far as the miles are concerned on this car, 1,500 miles is very low, but it is not very low. It's not like the sub-100 mile range. There is a big difference between low miles and super low miles. The cars that have basically no miles on them, 4 miles, 6 miles, 10 miles, something like that, those cars definitely bring in more money. These type of cars that still have the plastic on the bumpers, the pre-dealer prep stuff, those will be worth mega dollars. So this car has been used a little bit. I think that will affect the value. There was a Mystic Chrome Terminator Cobra that sold at Vanguard. There's a really cool YouTube video about this car. They go walking around it. It had 83 miles on it, and this car sold for $44,000 is what I hear. And this was in 2016, so I would assume the prices have gone up a little bit since then. So this one, $1,500, that's a lot more, but I think you can expect this car to be in the high 30s to mid 40s. I think would be a very fair price for the car. We'll see what it sells for when it does. So yes, you can go buy a GT500, like a 2013 or 14, or a GT350 for this kind of money, but you can get one of those almost anywhere. This you cannot get just anywhere, especially in this low mileage condition. These cars are out there. They've been surfacing a little bit lately. I think the prices are coming up, so people are starting to let them go. So only time will tell how many 10th anniversary Cobras are like this in the plastic. But Terminator Cobras with low miles are always going to be worth something. This is really interesting. We'll see how much this goes for, and maybe later in the future it'll go even higher. But I think this is a great car. Some people were mentioning the 2000 Cobra R, how that this Terminator is going for the money that a 00 Cobra R would bring in. Let's remember that the 2000 Cobra R started out at around $50,000 or $54,000, so it already is up there, and one with no miles on it is going to depreciate less. I don't think the 2000 Cobra R has the love and following that the Terminator has. I just don't think it's there. It's always going to be collectible. Yeah, they made 300 of them, but I think a low mileage Terminator like this is definitely going to give it a run for its money. The comments are very interesting though on Facebook. Somebody said that they did see one of these sell with 3,000 miles on it for $47,000. So that would put this car at 49-ish. And so I think that is actually right on where it could be. Now, it's always determined by who's willing to pay the money for it, who has the money for it. You might have somebody come by who really wants the car and money's no object, and they'll pay the $49 and they'll grab it. Because one thing about these cars, they'll pop up for sale like this and you'll think you have all the time in the world, and next thing you know, the ad is gone. The seller will have sold the car and then there will be no more information about it and it will disappear, just like this one has been hiding for the last 16 years. There's always more to be said on this topic. Thanks for watching the video. Put in the comments what you think. Tell me if you think the car's worth about what they're asking for it. You may disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. I don't mind if you disagree. You have your opinion, I have mine. But whether we like it or not, these cars are going up in value.